Tonight, local businesses are concerned about the strike at Canada Post. The NDP wants answers about staffing at Regina's urgent care centre.
Well, we got here to promote it and have our money.
Artists are still waiting to be paid from a Regina music festival.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Monday, November 18th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. Good evening and thanks for watching. The postal workers on strike are impacting millions of Canadians and small businesses across this country. Some say the timing could not be worse with the busy holiday season right around the corner. As Aishwarya Dutta reports, local businesses are hoping for a resolution with Canada Post and soon.
Thousands of Canada Post workers are on strike. So what could that mean for local businesses? Black Friday and Christmas are just around the corner.
This Saskatoon business ships products worldwide every day using Canada Post, now forced to find new ways to get their products to customers.
It's affecting us a lot. We can send some stuff by other couriers, but again, the price goes up.
When the price goes up for sending packages, customers bear the higher cost. And Bedient says local artists are feeling it too, especially those in rural communities who rely on Canada Post. When they can't ship, it could affect their livelihood.
The month of December is crucial for any retail. If they ship, it's Canada Post is crucial to Canada.
Bedient says it's just the latest hit after a pandemic, port disruptions, and sky-high inflation.
A little stressed. So I'm hoping that it gets resolved real soon.
Another business owner in Regina is facing the same challenge.
We have customers that live outside of the city that sometimes want us to send little things to, even a package of yeast. We just pop it in the mail to them. Obviously, that's not going to be possible. So it will affect us. I think it'll affect everyone in some way.
55,000 Canadian postal workers traded their delivery routes for picket lines. After a year of bargaining, the union and employer are at an impasse over issues like wages, pensions, medical leave, and weekend delivery. Canada Post says delays are to be expected, and the federal government has said it has no plans to intervene.
We regret being in this position. Of course, this is sort of just the timing of it, right? We started bargaining last November, and then it took a year, and that's when the strike notice was given. But our members are looking for a negotiated resolution, and we believe that we've been there the whole entire time.
The government of Saskatchewan is making some suggestions, like switching to online banking for bill payments and setting up direct deposit. The Ministry of Health suggests emailing refund receipts, documents, and program applications for extended benefits and drug plans. The Ministry of Social Services is working to make alternate payment deliveries to clients who use mail to receive benefits. Bills, taxes, important documents like birth and death certificates, passports, and visas will also be affected. Aishwarya Dutta, CBC News, Saskatoon.
Rain in the Queen City today, and now a snowfall warning. We're obviously not the only ones. Our weather specialist Ethan Williams is with us now for a quick look at what is developing.
Yeah, and that rain has been falling throughout the day through a lot of southern Saskatchewan, and as you can see here, beginning to change over to snow as we've been heading through the evening hours here. Much of Monday has been spent with moisture in south and central Saskatchewan. And now that snowfall warning extends through really a large chunk of the province, almost all of the eastern half of the province seeing the snowfall warning in effect. If you're in south and central Saskatchewan, probably looking anywhere between 10 and 15 centimeters of snow. If you're in northern Saskatchewan, La Ronge, Pelican Narrows up through South End could be in the range of 20 to 40 centimeters there. Heaviest snow likely midday Tuesday through midnight, so kind of in that 12-hour period there. Going to have to watch for reduced visibilities in blowing snow as well. Then we have a winter storm warning in effect for Melfort, Nipawin, and Tisdale in the Hudson Bay area. Freezing rain is possible in this region as we head into Monday night. Upwards of possibly 50 centimeters of snow in this area. That looks to kind of be the bullseye of the snow in the province. And again, blowing snow going to be an issue as well. I'll time this all out, Sam, coming up in my full forecast.
It is all or nothing, isn't it?
It truly is, yes.
Thanks, Ethan.
You're welcome.
Police in Saskatoon are investigating 2 separate homicides from the weekend. It brings the total number of violent deaths in the city this year to 14. Caitlin Schwana McGilvery has been charged with first-degree murder after a 20-year-old woman died Friday night. It happened here at the Copper Mug Eatery on 8th Street East. The 36-year-old returns to court on Wednesday. Then on Sunday, police arrested 45-year-old Timothy Smith. He is now charged with manslaughter in the death of another man in a house on 26th Street. Smith is also due back in court on Wednesday. A sexual assault trial in Regina has moved into its 3rd week. Ruben Mans is accused of sexually assaulting 7 women over 10 years while they were under his care as a chiropractor. Today, we heard from another complainant. Jeffrey Tram has the latest.
A 30-year-old woman took the stand Monday morning. She is one of 7 women accusing a Regina-based chiropractor of sexual assault. The woman was under the care of Ruben Mans for back pain back in 2017. She testified that over multiple appointments at the Argyle Natural Health Center, Mans progressively moved his hand lower toward her chest during neck stretches. She says during her final appointments, he was, quote, grabbing skin to reach toward her breast. Her story is similar to the accounts of several other women who have testified over the past 2 weeks. The woman told the court she decided to go to police only after seeing a social media post from Mans. Other women have testified about alleged events dating back years. I spoke with a sexual assault expert about why delays are common.
There's a fear sometimes of not being believed. So survivors maybe don't want to come forward initially because they don't think that they'll be believed. But once a news story comes out or an article comes out that, you know, something similar has happened to somebody else, even if it's not that they're involved in that same case, I think that then people might want to come forward because, again, what happened to them, they don't want to happen to other people.
As with other witnesses, the defense challenged the accuracy of the woman's memory because 7 years have passed and her understanding of chiropractic treatments. We are expected to hear from the Crown's final complainant on Tuesday. The trial is set to run until November 29th. Jeffrey Tram, CBC News, Regina.
In 1 week, newly elected and re-elected MLAs will head into the Assembly for the fall sitting. Today, the opposition got a head start, voicing concerns about staffing at Regina's Urgent Care Centre. The centre opened this summer, and the government's timeline expected it to operate 24/7 by this fall. Opposition MLA Mira Conway says the government fell short on its promise as the centre closes at 9:30 in the evening. Conway says the government has ignored input from doctors and nurses.
That's the basics, you know, get to the table and listen to the solutions of healthcare workers. If you were listening to what they were proposing, they would talk about the primary care crisis, they would talk about the mental health and addiction crisis, 2 things that are absolutely driving, you know, the people that are coming through the doors here, the crisis in our ERs. Healthcare workers are full of solutions. We hear from them every day. This government is not listening. It's got to be more than like a job posting on Sask Docs. Sorry, Scott Moe.
In a statement, the Saskatchewan Health Authority says it and the Ministry of Health are continuously assessing operations at the centre. The SHA says it also continues to recruit unfilled positions. The Regina Rams' Cinderella season came to a heart-stopping end on Saturday. The Rams were edged 17-14 by the heavily favored Laval squad on the last-minute touchdown. Regina stayed with Laval throughout the game and took a 14-10 lead with under 4 minutes left in the game. But Laval was able to drive the field for the winning touchdown with just 1 minute and 17 seconds left on the clock. Rams quarterback Noah Pelche says it was heartbreaking to lose that way, but the Rams can hold their heads high.
That was a great game, and we went against a great team. We knew that going into it, and yeah, we were happy to stick close. We were super happy at half to be in the situation we were. Offense, I thought, did a pretty good job driving the ball. It would have been nice to finish a couple of those drives, and yeah, defense did a really good job. I'm super proud of them, and not just today, all year. They did such a great job putting us in good situations. So yeah, there's definitely a couple plays we would have liked to have back, but looking back on it, I mean, we're super proud to make it to this moment and be able to play such a great team, and yeah, I definitely wish them the best of luck.
Just proud of the guys. I mean, how many more linemen can we get hurt? How many more injuries can we have? And just like I told the guys, just so proud of these guys, the way they fought all year. Yeah, it's a tough one, but proud to be their head coach.
Laval will play the Laurier Golden Hawks in the Vanier Cup next Saturday in Kingston, Ontario. You can stream that game live on cbcsports.ca, the CBC Sports app, and on CBC Gem.
2nd and 6. Arbuckle with time. Looks. End zone. Touchdown.
The Toronto Argonauts are Grey Cup champions. Backup quarterback Nick Arbuckle's second touchdown passed the onslaught. 24 points in the last 8 minutes, turning a cliffhanger into a romp. 3 successive interceptions by the Argo defense led to another 17 points going up on the scoreboard. Final score, Argos 41, Bombers 24. We'll be back after the break. Some internationally renowned musicians performed in Regina earlier this year at a late summer music festival. But some of them say they still have not been paid for that performance. Shlok Talati reports.
When we got here, the promoter ain't have our money.
That's one of 2 artists who told the crowd at the Sweet Escape Festival that they were not paid. The music festival in Regina's Victoria Park over Labor Day weekend promised a lineup of internationally renowned artists like Polo G and Fat Joe. Nearly 3 months later, Polo G's team says they still have not been paid in full.
Polo was very, he was very mad. A lot of people's jobs were at stake just due to this, situation, because you got to think about it. It's the booking agents, it's a lot of people that, were behind this also. So he put a lot of people's jobs at stake just coming there and not having the money and then not paying afterwards. He put a lot of people at jeopardy.
Tone says they're still owed $60,000. 2 other artists, Max Wins and Charlie Hustle, confirmed that they were paid in full after the festival.
It's balanced, you know what I mean? There's the good and the bad side, and I feel like what I walked away with was a great experience. Even though it had its moments where it didn't go accordingly, I still had a great time, and I walked away with amazing connections.
The promoters had also promised to donate some ticket sales to the Hospitals of Regina Foundation. HRF says they haven't received anything. Regina-based artist Melodna withdrew right before going on stage.
Anytime I were to go anywhere, the moment I mention Regina, what are they going to associate it with? This festival. And even worse, if they look up this festival, they're going to see my name on it too. So that's the number one thing that makes me mad is I'm just like, there's nothing about Regina already to the outside eye, and now all that we have is this. And it's going to affect every artist that's trying to spring out of this.
The organizers spoke with CBC right after the festival, calling it a success despite challenges and saying they'd paid everyone in full. They didn't respond to questions this time around. Shlok Talati, CBC News, Regina.
Deep fake porn, explicit images created by artificial intelligence, is on the rise. The fake images feature subjects who never posed for them, used for extortion and harassment. As Ellen Morrow reports, it's often young people who are targeted.
This is one of countless sites, easy to find online, that uses artificial intelligence to nudify images.
We're gonna undress.
Oh, God. The result, a fake image that I never took that looks real enough.
Just feels icky. It's not me.
If I were just posting this on social media, it would convince a lot of people.
These were the messages that I got. Sounds like a teenager.
16-year-old Ruby in Toronto was targeted in a deep fake phishing scam. She received these messages telling her there were photos of her online, trying to get her to click on a link. But when she refused, Ruby was sent an explicit deepfake. A once fully clothed photo she had posted on social media now showed her topless.
Someone who I do not know has this picture of me where I really do look naked. And whether or not that's true, that's a really disturbing image that someone has.
There's one main tip line for all of Canada to report sexually explicit deep-faked images of young people, and it's here at the Canadian Centre for Child Protection in Winnipeg. They said last year they processed 4,000 of those images, and it was their very first year tracking them.
because of the availability of these tools that are often even advertised or made available for free. This has continued to grow and evolve and continue to be a problem.
The government's online harms bill targets tech companies to force them to do more to remove sexually explicit deepfakes, but the bill is tied up in a precarious parliament. All the while, the technology is rapidly improving. Brandon Lohr is an online safety educator delivering workshops to schools across Canada.
A hacker gets
that education more in demand as schools start to see deepfake porn cases of their own.
You really can't control what other people post about you. Once you press that post button, you do lose some control.
As far as Ruby knows, the deepfake of her was never posted publicly. The family's goal now, raising awareness.
What's still being taught around cybersecurity is that nothing ever leaves the internet, and to be safe, don't take nude photos. And that's true, but now it's an entirely other ball game.
Ellen Morrow, CBC News, Toronto.
The weather update is brought to you by Capital Ford Lincoln. Year-end clearance is on now.
And our weather specialist, Ethan Williams, joins me now. It seems like you've made friends with Anna and Elsa from Frozen.
You know, winter teased us a little bit, you know, here and there, some flakes flying and snow falling on the ground. Yeah, now it's not so subtle. It's telling us we're here, we're going to get started, get right into to our winter season on, well, you can mark the date. November 18th is when it all kicks off here in 2024, I guess, for most of us anyway, especially through south and central Saskatchewan. This is just one model of how things may be playing out, but rain pretty quickly through the evening hours Monday here, going to be changing over into snow. And this is likely going to be some wet snow, I think, to start off the night into southern Saskatchewan. So some of it may not be melting immediately once it hits the ground, but as temperatures drop as we get into tomorrow, this is going to be accumulating snowfall as we hit the commute tomorrow morning and get into kind of the early afternoon hours. The system kind of expands further northward here, so a good swath of the province from, you know, almost to the far north down in through south central areas of the province going to be seeing this. Again, primarily snowfall. We're not talking about rain tomorrow, especially as the colder temperatures start to move in. It's by Wednesday morning that we finally start to see things taper off, still hanging on though along eastern sections of the province. And for northern Saskatchewan, the system kind of backing up a little bit, and it's going to bring some snowfall, perhaps even through to Thursday morning. And otherwise, we're still looking at kind of cloudy skies, things not really clearing out probably until Thursday for a lot of us. This is, I think, the most accurate depiction of what's going to happen snowfall total-wise. Again, Regina, Saskatoon, maybe locally up to 20 centimeters of snow here. Same kind of 15 to 20 in the southeast of the province. Not really an issue west of Saskatoon. And then you look at the bullseye here around Melfort and Wynyard and up toward Tisdale and Nipawin. 40, maybe local pockets of 50 centimeters of snow being picked up. Into northern Saskatchewan, again, it's kind of just eastern sections of the Churchill region that I think will be most impacted here. And again, the snowfall warning in this part of the province calling for 20 to 40 centimeters. A few centimeters being picked up as that system moves back a bit Wednesday into Thursday into more western sections of far northern Saskatchewan. One thing to keep an eye on here, of course, is the wind gusts beginning to pick up by the noon hour Tuesday. By end of day, we're looking at gusts maybe in the range of, at worst, 80 to 90 kilometers an hour, especially strong into southeastern Saskatchewan, still breezy into Wednesday. And that means visibility going to be a challenge as you head to work tomorrow. And if you're heading along the highways, travel is just basically not recommended. So stay off the highways if you can. In this system here, you see visibilities under a kilometer at times until we get some improvement heading into Wednesday morning. So for Regina, again, I think a lot of the snow will fall overnight, but perhaps another 5 to 10 centimeters again in kind of that noon to midnight period Tuesday. Breezy on the other side of this on Wednesday. And then look at those temperatures staying pretty consistently back into those upper minus single digits. We'll even get a couple of days where we may not crack the minus 10 mark. Saskatoon, a pretty similar scenario playing out here. And then we get into those overnight temperatures getting into the mid-minus teens. But if you look, Sam, that's getting closer to normal for this time of year.
But at least we get to see the sun afterwards.
That will be nice, yes.
All right. Thanks, Ethan.
You bet.
Stay with us. We have more news for you after the break. Welcome back. A Regina NDP MLA says she's open to an investigation by Saskatchewan's Conflict of Interest Commissioner over social media posts. The conversation comes after complaints about Alina Young promoting her cheese shop on social media alongside legislative matters.
Some MLAs, like the premier, will post pictures, celebrating harvest in a combine. And I've posted pictures of, myself with my baby making charcuterie boards on Christmas Eve. So looking for clarification from the commissioner on questions just like this is something I'm really open to hearing. For those of us who are elected officials, I think the boundary between personal life and professional life can blur. I use my social media for my work as an MLA, but I also post a lot of pictures of my kids, of, celebrating things like being in business for 5 years or like running the Queen City Marathon. So it's definitely a bit of a gray zone for legislators here in Saskatchewan and across Canada. Getting clarification on some of these things is important, and the job of the Conflict of Interest Commissioner.
And Ethan is back with one last look at your weather.
And here comes the snow for many of us overnight tonight in Saskatchewan. That rain that we're seeing in the south transitioning over to snow. It's already snowing in parts of central Saskatchewan. That'll be continuing overnight. Temperatures dropping in kind of the freezing to -5 range. Again, snow kind of beginning in eastern sections of the Churchill region. You look further back where we have some clearing in portions of northwestern Saskatchewan. It's a chillier night, closer to around the -20 mark up in the north. Snow moving in through eastern sections of the north tomorrow. Keep in mind the temperature's a lot warmer than where we have a little bit of sunshine back into western sections of the north. And for south and central Saskatchewan, the story really remaining that snow tomorrow. Again, our temperatures, keep an eye on them here because they'll actually fall backward through the day. Heaviest snow kind of in that bullseye around east central regions, while out west, they may just escape the worst of it after all, Sam.
Boots and mittens and scrapers and extra time for getting to work tomorrow.
Yes, lots of shovels too.
Lots of those too. Okay, thanks, Ethan.
You bet.
And that is it for us tonight. For more news anytime, you can head to cbc.ca/Sask or /Saskatoon or subscribe to CBC Saskatchewan's YouTube channel. You can also find more news on the CBC News app on your smartphone or tablet. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great night.